The following program is intended for mature audiences.
A democratic republic of sports. The Sportsocracy with ESPN Asheville hosts Tank Spencer and Jeremy Greene.
And welcome into the Wicked Weed studio, wickedweedbrewing.com. Drink different. I'm Tank Spencer, Jeremy Greene alongside. As always, it is Tuesday of the opening week of the NFL season. We had college football last night, and college football's got a problem. We had 4 guys ejected last night in the Louisville Ole Miss game. And yeah, we're gonna have to talk about it.
I'm gonna yell a lot.
It's becoming a problem. It is definitely becoming a problem, and just last night's further evidence of we need the rule change. Of there has to be a personal foul targeting, there has to be an ejection targeting. You have to separate the two. We got a lot of news in the NFL to get into as well. Mark Andrews getting a big contract extension with the Baltimore Ravens.
Happy birthday if they ever paid you.
We have an official starter in Houston. We got more running backs in the mix, apparently, for the Baltimore Ravens as well. The Cleveland Browns are going to throw one of their rookies into the fire. We're going to get into all of it right here in the Sportsocracy. We appreciate everybody joining us here in the Wicked Weed studio this morning. Engage us in the comments. Be sure to hit that like button. Share it out as well to your friends. Invite them into the party. It is almost week 1 in the NFL. We want to make sure that everybody who wants to gets in on the competition for a cause. We are playing best ball fantasy football to benefit Eblin Charity's St. Nicholas Project. The links to the leagues are in the description of this video. We've got 3 different levels: the starter, the Pro Bowl, and the Hall of Fame levels. $20, $50, and $100 buy-ins. Proceeds of this going to Eblin Charity's St. Nicholas Project that has helped, last year helped 3,000 kids in Buncombe County have a better Christmas by giving their parents the ability to put something underneath the tree for them. So we want to make sure we get as much money as possible in this. We thank everybody who has already signed up and donated. As soon as we get all of these leagues filled, we will be drafting them.
We need just a few more people in every tier.
Yep.
We've got leagues set up. We've got all the things ready to go. We just need a couple more people in every tier.
Right.
So anybody, I've got my thing pulled up now. Anybody that signs up during the show will get live shout-outs, and I might cry.
We're also taking applications for the Sportsocracy Shtick Fantasy Football League, where Jeremy will play the Vampire in the Vampire League. If you're not familiar with what a Vampire League is, everybody around him drafts normal. He drafts shitty players, and then he gets to build a team out of what's left off of the waiver wire. The application process is basically just hit him up on social media or in the comments of this video with some shitty trash talk.
Yeah.
And
tell me to eat things that aren't physically possible, have sex with myself, whatever it is that that's the shtick.
Right. The wittier, the better. And obviously increases your chances to be in the Sportsocracy Vampire League to try to take down Jeremy this year.
Only one was able to do it last year, and I had to take Gardner Minshew first.
Yes. Chris Smathers was who won last year's league.
And he'll be back this year.
Right. He's automatically grandfathered into this year's league. So everybody take your shot at Jeremy in the Vampire League. Again, just hit him up in the comments or on social media at JGreenESPN with your best trash talk, and that's how we're going to fill the league. Last night in college football, we had Monday Night Football. Louisville, Ole Miss. Ole Miss dominated the game. The big takeaway from the game was the targeting calls. There were 4 targeting calls in the first half of that game. 4 guys got ejected, 2 from each team. And I'll be honest with you, there was only one of them that I had a real problem with. The others, by the definition of the law, yeah. Actually, all of them, by the definition of the law, were targeting. The problem is there are certain instances in football when you're going to have helmet-to-helmet contact, and there's nothing that the defender can do to keep from having that contact happen. The final targeting call in the first half against Malik Cunningham, or against the defender who was tackling Malik Cunningham. Cunningham lowered his head as the guy was coming in with his head lowered, and you had that, what I like to call, incidental helmet-to-helmet contact. You shouldn't be thrown out of the game for that. The other calls, I completely understood.
You done?
Yeah.
You're fucking wrong. 3 of those 4 calls were absolutely god-awful. The one on Matt Corral, you're right. You can't hit a sliding quarterback like that, and I'll be honest with you, they could have gotten 2 of them. Could have been the first time 2 guys ever got thrown out of a game for the same play.
Yes.
The others, all bullshit. Every last one. The one that you were defending on the kickoff is one of the worst calls I've ever seen. What the fuck's he supposed to do?
Go lower.
He's 6 inches taller than him. I love when short people say shit like that. I'm 6'5". Maybe there's a little sympathy in me for when a little 5'7" fucker comes in head up at you. I don't know how you think he's going to do that, but it's not physically possible. The Malik Cunningham, awful. If the quarterback initiates it, fuck you. If you drop your head, you get what you get, period. Now, since I've gotten out what I had to say, now let's talk about what's actually feasible. Because what I want to happen is never going to happen. Because we have to protect the players. In spite of the fact that you're putting on polyurethane helmets and bouncing off each other, we still have to protect you because that's the liberal PC bullshit we live in right now. Oh, we have to put warnings on everything because you might drink paint thinner. Okay. So now what can happen? I've heard every good announcer all weekend long say this. There has to be tiers of this. There has to be intent. The one on the one where they hit Matt Corral, you get what you get. I just
ejected.
Bye.
Out.
Bye. You get what you get.
Quarterback sliding, you still go in toward the head, you're done. You're gone.
But we have to get rid of this because it's become too big of a story. And we've done, there have been so many rules over the course of time that they were good in theory, but they're not good in practice. If 2 helmets hit each other, that shit just happens sometimes. Sorry, the Malik Cunningham thing shouldn't even vaguely be a penalty. Adam Black in the comments, +2. See what you hit. It's taught in youth league. I agree. I don't disagree with you. There are certain times that's unavoidable. It just is. The guy on the kickoff is 6 inches taller than the guy. I was going to
say blocking on a kickoff is where you lower your head and lunge toward him. No. I can't agree with that. He was looking for the layout block. And he went. He
was looking for the layout block of somebody that he was twice their size, and he didn't even knock him down. Okay. Not exactly how that works. If you're looking for the layout block, you can do it. No doubt you can do it. And if he wanted to knock him out, he would have. He wanted to get a helmet on him, and they just set a precedent in that game of anytime helmets touch, somebody's getting. It's borderline unwatchable. Straight up, it's borderline unwatchable. And the first one was an absolute joke. I mean, an absolute joke. I don't know how you're supposed to. You want to know why points are being scored at such a level at this point in college football? If you want to be a really good player and you have NFL aspirations, why would you want to play defense? Why? I mean, explain it. And explain it to me real slow. Because it's not going to make a damn lick of sense to me. Why would you sign up for this? Or you can go play linebacker, and every time you look in the wrong direction, you get ejected. Or you can go play wide receiver where they cannot touch me. I score touchdowns. Everybody loves me. They want me on their fantasy team when I get in the NFL. Why in the hell would you want to play corner? I said this a couple weeks ago. I said this a couple weeks ago on the ESPN show about corners. I haven't seen a high-level corner other than Derek Stingley Jr. all year long. Not one. The coverage is terrible, and if you don't do something, I'm not going to say you're going to ruin the game, you're going to hurt the game. Because it gets to a point where it's no longer competition. It's how many points can they score, and nobody can ever stop you. I mean, just really, pull up the scoreboard from this past week.
Okay.
Top 25. Just look at the scores in top 25 games. Alabama hangs almost half a hundo on Miami. Ole Miss could have scored a jillion points yesterday. What happened in the second half, I don't really know.
Right.
They're up 26-0 at halftime.
Right.
Kind of pulled the foot off the gas, I suppose, and didn't hit the frickin' over. I hate betting over-unders. I hate betting over-unders. It's the reason I don't ever do it. But we get into these situations where there's only one game, and I don't want to just pick one thing, so I bet stupid over-unders, and I'm wrong all the frickin' time. But just look at the scores. Ohio State, 45-31. Utah, 40-17. Arizona State, 41-14. Oklahoma Tulane, 40-35. You want to know why that Georgia-Clemson game looked so weird to you? Because you don't ever see it. So we put out our top 25 yesterday. I have gotten more bullshit about where Clemson is ranked. Clemson and Notre Dame.
Yep.
They were the two teams I caught the most shit about. Are you out of your freaking mind? Did you not watch that game? Did we not watch the same game?
No, they didn't. It's not watching the same game. It's going, oh, they're 0-1.
Patrick Holt.
Well, there's a difference between being 0-1, having lost to the number 5 team in the country, in Clemson's case, and, and to me being 0-1 when you played in a really tough environment in Florida State against a team that's better than we thought they were. And let's be really honest, that was a team that was playing for a lot. They had the whole Bobby thing going on. That was kind of a boost for them as well. And playing on the road is tough in college football, especially when you're playing against one of these, one of these heritage programs. I don't care that Florida State has been down all that much. Notre Dame's still a damn good football team. But people see 0-1 and they go, oh, you can't have them.
I have to address this because Adam Black's been going on a sweet diatribe in the comments, and I can't let this go he said there wasn't one targeting call last night that was made that wasn't head down. It's an easy call. You're not wrong. Do me a favor. I want you to go put on a helmet. Let me put on one. When I lower my head, tell me what you do. We'll do it 10 times. Let's see how many times you drop your head. I'm just telling you, when somebody my size or the size of a high-level college football player comes at you with their head down, I want to see what you do. Because if you tell me you're going to keep your head up, that's fine. I want to see you do it. Because it's a hell of a lot harder than people think it is. You see that coming at you going, that's going to hurt real bad. And here's the problem. I never thought I would say about what I never thought I'd say what I'm getting ready to say. Adam Blake said I'm 6'3", 280. I know, I've met you. That's the reason I said it to you and not somebody his size. If he lowers his hand, it might hit me in the ding-ding, and I need a cup. Sorry.
It's fine. It's the truth.
You're not. I know it is. We took promotional pictures. They had to put him on a stool.
Yeah.
Which made me laugh. This many. What the hell was I talking about?
Lowering your head.
Yeah, but I was going to a crescendo, and there was a really good point, and I got distracted when Black went Dan Patrick on.
I have no idea, because I'll be honest with you, I'm on Adam Black's side on this one. Like it's part of what you teach the kids. You can't lead with your head. You have to keep your head up. Every one of these fouls was a guy going in with the crown of his head.
And here's my problem: there's nothing on the offense. Nothing. Malik Cunningham, there is nothing he can do that can get him flagged. No. So he comes in with his head down. What are you supposed to do? Oh, head up. Okay, let him hit me with that helmet right in my chest protector. I'm going to pass. I'm going to pass on that. It's the enforcement of this that bothers me. I get it. If a guy comes in and he's staring at the field, you're right. You're 100% right. Stephen Tao said Oklahoma drilled Black versus Greene for charity. I am all the way in.
Black and green. I like it.
I am 100% in. And I love Adam Black. He's one of my favorite people that I've ever met from this show. The nicest human I think I've ever met. Story for another day. Yeah. I hate the way this is enforced. Oh, you hit him in the head. Well, that's going to happen. That's why you have helmets on. I can't believe I'm having to say this, that Yeah, every once in a while you're going to hit each other in the head. That's why when somebody's helmet comes off, the play immediately dies. It's not because we all play head up. You should never, ever drop your face mask. Okay, and we should all give to charity, and we should all feed the homeless, and there should be no pollution, and tires should never explode, and beer should always be cold, and every woman that you ever meet should want to sleep with you.
Right.
But they don't. This is not fucking practical. That's like saying in the NBA, nobody should ever double dribble. Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Rob Johnson said in the comments, and I agree with you, it's not fair when the defender is going in for the tackle and the guy on offense lowers his head and boom, there's a penalty. I completely understand that. That's why on the Malik Cunningham rule, by the letter of the law, that is targeting. However, to me, that would be an incidental personal foul just because, that's they want to legislate out the helmet to helmet hits. You've got to penalize it somehow. But kicking the kid out of the game because Malik Cunningham lowered his head, he was already coming in with his head kind of lowered because I've got it pulled up here. I don't think he was going in full on spear mode. It was a little bit down. He's making the tackle, and the guy lowers, and Malik Cunningham lowers his head to meet his head.
Tell me this, because you thought they were all justified.
Yes, by the letter of the law, they are justified.
Stop saying for the letter of the law. The letter of the law is the fucking problem.
I understand.
You're doing that Nancy Reagan thing of, well, I can't really define pornography, but I know it when I see it. No, stop with the letter of the law thing. That's what we're debating here. Fact or fiction, there was a very obvious intent on one of those 4 infractions.
Yes.
There you go.
Fact.
That's the one that should have been ejected. I'll be honest with you, I don't really have a problem with the 15-yard penalty. I can get down with that. Hell, how many pass interferences do we see in a game where you go, that's bullshit?
Right.
If it was just that, I wouldn't really have a problem with it. It's the ejection mixed with then you have to miss half the next game, and it's just all this. Stop that. The kid that hit Matt Corral, okay, he doesn't play next week.
Yep.
Get it. Maybe you'll stop. But the other 3, stop. Stop that. By the way, I'm Seacrest out on on replay. Fuck it, just get it wrong. I don't care anymore. Fuck it, just get it wrong.
Why? Because it takes too long?
Yes, and they review everything. And I'm going to be honest with you, maybe I'm the only one. Does anybody else feel like the officials are getting worse? I feel like they're getting worse.
I don't know if they're getting worse. It's just because of replay, because we have so many camera angles, we see things better than they do. So they'll miss calls like
they're seeing the exact same angles that we are.
On the replay. But I'm talking about
on the replay. When you go to the tape, I feel like they fuck these things up more often than they fix it. And I absolutely hate we got it wrong. All right, you got to give me 60 seconds of latitude here because this just drives me fucking crazy.
Okay.
I can't remember who the commentator was, but actually, yeah, I do. It was Tessitore and Greg McElroy on the Florida State Notre Dame game.
Okay.
There's a very obvious. First of all, Travis's knee was down and the hand was coming forward. They ruled a fumble, and they let him run it back. And woo, yeah! And I heard Greg McElroy say, "Oh, I love the letting them play it through, and then we can sort it out." That's all well and good, except for how often they mess that up. The Miami-Alabama fumble recovery, can we not have some common sense here? Like, the Miami guy had that. I don't care if he had it between his legs. I don't care if it was in between his ear holes. I don't care. He possessed that ball. So it's that letter of the law thing that really irks me. Well, by the letter of the law, that's a bit. I don't care. Use common sense. Common sense is fun. You do it all the time. All the time in life, you use a little common sense to keep you from doing something that'll boo-boo kitty yourself. Fact or fiction?
Fact.
Why can we not do that in college football? Ever. I have not seen one official use just even a modicum of common sense.
Because it's when it comes to head injuries and helmet-to-helmet contact.
I'm not just talking about with the
helmet.
helmet thing. I'm talking about period. Period. Replay has become a crutch. Straight up, it's become a crutch.
Yes.
They know, we might have fucked that up, but we'll just go review it, and then it will be fine. It's fine. No big deal. Just go review it. Take 4 minutes out of everybody's lives to do what should have been abundantly obvious from the jump.
Right.
I never thought I'd be out on replay, but damn, I am.
Stephen Tao says he thought they were supposed to be smart people. Like
most of
these
them
referees are like doctors and lawyers and all of that. I mean, that has been a criticism in the past of we need full-time officials that are committed to the game. You know, if the NFL, the NFL goes through this and has full-time officials, I'm absolutely all for it. No, I don't know that you could do that in college because there are just so many and there's so little money pumped into the referee crews.
I haven't seen armchair commentary in here today, but I feel like he could verify what I'm getting ready to say. Hockey does this the right way. It's all controlled from the mothership. Do that in college football. Do it in college football. Stop we got a replay official in the building. I don't care. Hell, let me do it. I'll do it, and I'll do it in 10 seconds because I don't think I've seen a replay in the last. I know I didn't see one this weekend where it didn't take me 5 seconds to go. No, that's wrong.
Yeah.
Or, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Let me do it. I'll do it. Let me talk on it.
Right.
Can I talk on it?
It's always that. On replay. It's the phrase. What is it? Irrefutable evidence. That you have to be sure. Okay. Some of those plays, it does take a little time to determine that.
See, and I don't care about irrefutable visual evidence. I care about irrefutable common sense.
Like the interception. The interception at the end of the Carolina-Virginia Tech game. Sam Howell throws that ball. The guy dives in to try to get it. To me, it looked like the ball was on the ground, but you look at the replays, it's very, very close. Was that the ball or was it his hand? Because his glove was colored sort of something similar to the ball, so it could have been the hand, could have been the ball, we don't know. Some of those take a while. Some of them are just blatant where it's like, well, that's obvious, and they still take 5 minutes to figure it out. Yeah, those are the ones that piss me off.
What's always fun for me is where they do this and then they forget to figure out where to spot the ball. Did you notice that one in the Florida State game? Oh, we do the whole review to make sure that Mackenzie Milton's arm was coming forward, which was abundantly obvious.
Right.
And then they spot the ball in a place that it couldn't physically have been. It started on the 25. It's 4th and 6, or 4th and 4. You have the down markers right, and the ball's at the 31-yard line. How did that work? It's physically not possible.
Right.
And it took Mike Norvell losing his shit for them to go, oh, wait.
Did they spot it where his knee was down?
Yes. They reviewed it, reversed it, and then left the ball right where it was. How did nobody go, ooh, wait a minute. You have 7 officials on the field. How did not one of them go, wait,
right.
wait. This is where we started. We didn't move the ball. We didn't pick the damn ball up. If this is reversed, the ball has to move somewhere. All right, I'm done bitching about officials.
You're done bitching about officials. We understand that the rules, everybody's got their own interpretations of the rules. It's the problem of, especially with the helmet-to-helmet things, they want that out of the game. Head injuries are such a big problem that you said you get tired of me saying by the letter of the law. Well, that's why they wrote the rule. They wrote the rule because of the head injuries, because of concussions, all of that. You have to go by the letter of the law because that's what they're focusing on. Anyhow, anything else to wrap up from the college football weekend?
Adam Black asked, how do you change it? I'm assuming he's referring to the targeting thing. To me, it's real easy.
Tiers.
To me, it's real easy. There should be a 5-yard automatic first down. There should be a 15-yard automatic first down, and there should be an ejection. The Matt Corral hit was an ejection.
Yes.
The Malik Cunningham thing, I'll give you 5 yards. That's the best I'm going to do. Mm-hmm. He lowered his head. I mean, if you're trying to say you're going to legislate that out of the game, and I would go one step further. Where I was headed earlier when I got confused and forgot what I was going to say.
Yeah.
I can't believe I'm agreeing with Tom Brady, but I am. I shared this on social media. Mm-hmm. He said offensive players are being rewarded for their own ineptitude because that's what's leading to a lot of these defensive penalties. He's 100% right. There's no infraction on the offense. You want to get these things out of the game? Cool. Start flagging the offense. But you don't want to do that. You don't want to do that because it's disingenuous. That's what has always driven me crazy about this the defenseless receiver thing. No, you don't give a rat's ass what happens to the defensive players because the defensive players don't go on posters. The defensive players don't end up with Heisman Trophy campaigns, and the defensive players aren't guys that you wear their jerseys. You don't care about that. You care about when the quarterback, the receiver, and the running back get hit defenseless. I get it. Not saying I don't understand it. I'm a fucking marketing guy. 100% understand it. But don't be disingenuous. Just say that. Just say that. But you have to do something. If you're wanting to get it out of the game, you have to do something to the offensive players that initiate that contact. Because that's what I would say a third of these are loosely initiated by the offense. And until you legislate that, there's not a way to fix it. You keep doing that, and you'll keep having this be the narrative. It will be the.
How do you go to an offensive player and say you can't?
Same way you do it to a defensive player.
Protect yourself.
Same way you do it to so it's okay to say it to a defensive player, but not to an offensive. The defensive player can't protect himself when an offensive player comes in like this. But your argument is, how do you say that to an offensive guy? The exact same way. The exact same words. But do you see how stupid that sounds when you say it with offensive players?
Yeah.
That's how I hear it when you say it about defensive guys.
Okay.
It's equally stupid to me. There's somebody coming right at them, too. Just because usually the defender's bigger or the offensive player's trying to adjust to the ball, I get all those things. It's not always black and white.
Right. Over the weekend in college football, we did have several big injuries as guys are going to miss the rest of the season. We found out yesterday Mo Ibrahim, the running back from Minnesota, he's going to miss the rest of the season. Ronnie Bell, a wide receiver from Michigan, who was the top target for that Michigan Wolverines offense, he's done for the year too. Hurt on a special teams play. I always hate seeing your big threat hurt on special teams. But there again, when you're in college, they're the guy. They're the playmaker. So they're going to be out there on special teams more than they would be at the next level for sure. Christopher Allen, linebacker from Alabama, he's done for the year. It wasn't a great weekend for a lot of guys in college football, but that was pretty sad to see some of those top players in the country go down with season-ending injuries. It's going to happen every week. Randy Edsall. Randy Edsall. He
changed his mind.
He's bad at coaching football.
I have to retire at the end of the year.
Yeah.
He went back up to the AD's office. He went, no. I meant immediately.
Yeah.
I mean, I need you to get your shit and get out of here because you are brutally bad.
Well, I mean, after you lost the Holy Cross, I don't know that was completely his decision. They went and said, you know what, you're going to be done in a couple of games anyway. Why don't you just...
Here's the thing. They could have Newt Rockne coaching this team with Vince Lombardi and Bill Belichick as the coordinators.
Right.
They'd still be lucky to win a game.
Yep. UConn football is absolutely terrible. Randy Edsall...
It's Kansas bad.
Randy Edsall has decided to immediately retire rather than retire at the end of the season. In the NFL, we've got week 1 coming up in just 2 days.
Do you realize we have an 11 o'clock game this week in college football?
Really?
There's an 11 o'clock game this week. It's Illinois and Virginia. I'm not saying you should watch it. I'm just saying it's going to be on.
The Blue and Orange Bowl. That should be fun.
Wahoo-wah.
I got Virginia.
I got the real winner is whoever doesn't turn that game on. Whoever has breakfast with their spouse.
What's the spread? Maybe we should put something on that one.
Let's see. It is Virginia by 10.
My initial reaction is that's a Virginia cover.
My initial reaction is not.
Is not. All right. NFL Week 1 starts in 2 days.
We have a shitload of content coming out, by the way. DFS plays will be out. Betting plays will be out. I was going to do something last week that I will be doing this week instead.
Oh, with your picks? Mm-hmm. Yeah, your special pick segment.
Yeah, I think you're gonna like it.
Yeah,
a lot.
It's gonna be pretty funny.
I think you're gonna like it a lot.
Thursday night, we got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Dallas Cowboys kicking off the season. 8:20 on NBC. Sunday, we will have your coverage of the day's games. We will be recorded, though, because Jeremy and I will be at Bank of America Stadium to see his old boyfriend take on his new boyfriend.
It's going to be a lover's quarrel, and I can't wait for it.
The Carolina Panthers hosting the New York Jets in Week 1. We got a lot of big matchups in Week 1. And we're going to break them all down. We'll give you the position by position fantasy rankings here in the Sportsocracy, heading up closer to the week. As he said, DFS plays will be coming out each and every day. We'll start with the quarterbacks today. DFS plays for Week 1, and then take it position by position throughout the week. So look forward to all of that. Pretty much, this is the show now. Fantasy rankings, waiver wire pickups, all of it. We're going to have your recaps of every game coming up on Monday mornings. We'll have your previews every Friday. It's football season, y'all. We are into it, and I, for one, am glad that it is here. In NFL news yesterday, we had the Houston Texans announcing that Tyrod Taylor, he is their starter for Week 1. They're going with Tyrod Taylor over Davis Mills. Obviously, the sub-headline of the story, Deshaun Watson is QB4 on their depth chart, I think.
Hot.
And he will not play.
And you know who saw this and went, oh, shit? Brandin Cooks. Yeah, remember all those things we said about Brandin Cooks?
Right.
Delete that. Act like we didn't say that. Because that's not even kind of true now.
What is his ceiling now? 700 yards?
I'd go 850 and 4 touchdowns. I don't think this team's going to score a lot, period. Mm-hmm. I mean, I think this Houston Texan team could be historically bad. This could be like winless Miami Dolphin bad. John Beck, Miami Dolphin bad.
John Beck. That's a name I wasn't expecting to hear.
Dan Orlovsky, Detroit Lion bad. Michael Irvin and Stephen A. Smith on first take bad.
Although they get the Jags to open up the season.
On that was fucking funny.
What was it? I'm sorry.
The last thing I said was Stephen A. Smith and Michael Irvin on first take bad.
So bad. It's so bad.
Just because you can talk louder than the other person doesn't mean that is legible to the rest of us.
Mm-hmm. It's awful. Absolutely awful. It's almost as bad as the morning show now on ESPN Radio. Anyhow, the Houston Texans take on the Jacksonville Jaguars in Week 1. So, I mean, there's a chance to put up some points against the Jacksonville Jaguars team, who's going to be not as shitty as you, but it's going to be close when you come down to the end of the season. Tyrod Taylor is not, he should not be on the radar of anybody at any stretch of the season in any league. I don't care what you're playing. Double super flex league. Still don't care.
No, Tyrod Taylor is completely irrelevant in fantasy football. I'll be honest with you. There's only one player on the Houston Texans that I think is even vaguely fantasy relevant at this point.
Philip Lindsay.
Nope.
Damn.
Jordan Akins. That's it. Tyrod Taylor is a dump-off champion of the world. Charles Clay was the leading receiver his last year in Buffalo as a starter. He's going to do it again.
2 out of his 3 years that he started for Buffalo, Charles Clay was the leading receiver. There was that one season, 2015, where Tyrod Taylor did have a 1,000-yard receiver, and it was Sammy Watkins. He had over 1,000 yards and 9 touchdowns in 2015. Other than that, nobody did anything with that offense when Tyrod Taylor was the starter. Now, granted, they ran the ball a lot back in those days because that was when LaShawn McCoy was an actual thing. With the Houston Texans, he doesn't have a LaShawn McCoy, and I don't think it's going to be worth a whole lot. Brandin Cooks just lost 3 rounds of value from where you were taking him before.
He lost all the rounds of value because now he's completely irrelevant to me.
Really?
By the way, there may not be a player on the planet Earth that I like more for Week 1 fantasy DFS than James Robinson.
Bingo.
Take a stab at how much he costs on DraftKings. on fire number at that.
64. Nailed it.
Right.
It's on the head.
Yeah, he's the first.
I have done no studying, by the way, on
He's
DFS. I don't do
the first player going into. The first 2 weeks of our DFS content will be free, and then it will be exclusive to Patreon.
Excellent.
Yeah. So that's just a thank you to all the wonderful people involved. And I've got about 20 guys in my pool for DFS this week, and I don't know how I can get away from them. We'll be putting that out later today. We'll be doing quarterbacks later today. There are 3 names on that list. And the more I think about it, the more I want to go contrarian because I think the 3 I'm going to tell you are going to be stupidly high owned. Which makes me look at like, I don't know. Going to go Kyler Murray.
Against the Tennessee Titans this week. I like him a lot.
Or, I don't know, Aaron Rodgers?
Tom Brady.
That's a Thursday game. That's not how this works.
Damn it. You can play the showdown. Tom Brady.
If you play the showdown, please look for advice from anybody but me because I would rather play with
Because you don't play showdowns.
I would rather play with myself in the middle of fucking 85 traffic than play a showdown.
Right.
I absolutely despise those slates.
Yep. I always forget about that. I always forget about the Thursday showdowns and the Monday night showdowns and the late slate versus the early slate versus the late slate. And I'm not good at DFS. I leave that to him. I will back you. I will back up your play all I can.
I'm a single entry guy. So, by the way, we will be playing DraftKings also for charity every week of the fantasy football season.
Excellent.
Also going to the Evelyn Charities St. Nicholas Project.
We're going to do that through DraftKings, or
yes,
is that
we'll do
undecided?
that. So the way that's going to work, and I'm still trying to figure out exactly how open about this I can be. I know I can say it on the air because it's legal. There'll be 50-50s. So, and you guys feel free to chime in the comments of what you think the entry should be, because I really don't know. I'm a bad person to ask about money because I spend a decent amount of it. So I say numbers and he goes, nobody will do that. I think they will. And then they do. And I go, see, told you. So whatever, and we might do tiers. There's probably something to be said for tiers.
Maybe.
Do a small, a mid, and a large. Probably something to be said for that.
Okay.
So if anybody has any ideas on that, feel free to chime them in the comments.
Yeah.
Because in my head, I'm thinking like 5, 20, 50.
That's a lot. Too rich for my blood.
I was only looking at you
I
because
am
you're
cheap.
the only one in the room.
I am cheaper than oxygen. You all should know this about me by now. Anyhow, but I'll play for $5 with you. Definitely.
I'll let you handle the $5 one.
I'm all the way in. Tyrod Taylor is now the starter in Houston. You still think that's done? That they should have gone with Davis Mills?
They should have gone with anybody not named Tyrod Taylor.
Oh, come on, he's not that bad.
He's not that good either.
Well, I get it, but he's still the best option you got.
Disagree. Jason Trump said you're the penny slots guy.
I am the penny slots guy.
That's the truest shit I've ever heard in my life.
I am the penny slots guy. Ooh, I hit the jackpot
for
$4. You won $74. Congratulations.
Yeah. I don't even know where the penny slots are. And that's a true story. We have a casino not that far from us.
Right.
I don't know where you find those.
I couldn't tell you either. I'm actually too cheap for the penny slots as well.
I'm usually behind that. I'm behind that door that has the real pretty writing on it.
Nah. I never end up in that room.
I do. And sometimes it goes well, and sometimes it don't.
It's always the possibility of it doonting that I don't.
Adam Black said Tank's the coupons on a date guy.
Damn right. Damn right. My anniversary's coming up, and I got a 2-for-1 at the Sizzler.
The fact that you can still go to a Sizzler tells me everything I need to know.
I don't think there are any of those anymore.
No, they all went out of business.
There might be one out in
because
Waynesville.
they gave away 2 for $20 at Applebee's fans. Can we just do this the rest of the day? Can we just talk shit about how cheap he is? Because I'm thoroughly enjoying this.
This is why I find out that they have things like rabbit meat on sale at the discount grocery store.
Okay, I have to tell this story. So there's this fictitious website. It's a vegan website. And it's called something dog meat, like Elwood's dog meat or some shit like that. So I see this because somebody shared it on social media, and I went, that can't be true. And I am notoriously suspicious of things on social media. So I say it, and I'm looking at it, and they have this steak that is the most disgusting looking cut of meat I've ever seen in my life. So it actually starts to dupe me. I tell him about this, and he goes, well, do they take credit cards? Then I get to the bottom, and it's just a great big hoax from a set of vegans that are like, you would never eat you never eat scruffy. I did find it very...
Don't project on me. You don't know what I'm capable of. It's like he showed me the meme of a billboard was going around on Facebook and had all, it had food to pet, and it was like...
Food to friend.
Food to friend, yeah, that's what it was. It had like cats and dogs, and then it started escalating, and it got up to like horses and cows and chickens and all that stuff, and it had the little line drawn at the horse. Like, this is where I draw the line. And I went, I go way further left on that list than you would ever expect.
Yeah. Who's shocked? Anybody shocked? Show of hands. Tank hangs out at the glue factory trying to figure out what they do with the hooves.
I'm adventurous. What can I say?
Trying to figure out what they do with the hooves.
You're talking to the same guy who got excited when he went to the Dominican Republic and there was goat on the menu. And I went, well, I have to try that.
That's not food.
It was food.
It's not food.
It was food, and it was really good.
By the way, all of the shitting on you for being cheap is hilarious to me. Kelvin Joyner said, just so I'm clear, Deshaun Watson can play. Yes, he could play. He's just not going to.
Adam Black says there's a Sizzler in Florence. He went 2 months ago.
Yes.
That's a hell of a road trip. Maybe next time I go to
And the
Myrtle
grill
Beach.
you left out the important part. The grill was broke.
Of course it was. It's a Sizzler.
A Sizzler with where the grill's broke is like an AARP date where the Viagra's expired. Like
right.
that. I think we could have just shuttered the doors on that one.
Mm-hmm. Amy. Damn right. It's where you get your rabbit meat in Asheville. I'll try anything. It's always food-wise. I'll try anything.
You're the reason they have dollar margaritas at Applebee's.
Is that a thing?
100% it's a thing.
Nice. I don't really like margaritas.
There's more alcohol in my beard than there is in that fucking margarita. And yet Dave will be there as quick as he can get there. There's one on Smoky Park Highway. I'll be there for lunch.
There's definitely more alcohol in your bloodstream.
100%. I live at a solid about 0.12.
Yeah.
That's my resting rate.
Yeah. Yesterday was also the day I found out that thanks to our former president, you can't eat dogs and cats anymore in America. What this world's coming to. They actually slipped that into the Farm Bill in 2018. It was the Cat and Dog Protection Act.
Yeah, because you're not supposed to eat them, you weird shit.
It's an animal. It counts as food.
There's no meat on that.
Well, I ain't much meat on a squirrel either, but I'll eat it. Adam Black will back me up on this one. I know he's had squirrel stew.
The 2023 NFL season of the Sportsocracy brought to you by diabetes. Brought to you by Liberty Mutual.
It's a very lean,
Tank
very
gets his
lean
diabetes testing supplies from Liberty Mutual.
I'm not going to wrap it in a donut. It's still meat.
I'm still convinced.
That falls on the keto diet, Amy.
I'm still dedicated to getting you on a horse and doing a pig segment as Wilford Brimley. I am dedicated to that. Didn't you tell me you were scared of horses?
It's got to be a bit. No. I've never ridden one. I'm not scared of them. I've just never ridden one.
Oh, that's what you told me. And in my head, I got scared of a horse for you.
Because you want to ride this horse? No. I want to humanely kill it and eat it. I don't want to.
Well, here's the thing: the horse ain't real happy about you riding it either.
I don't want to cripple the poor thing.
I mean, the horse doesn't look at you and go, "Yeah, this will be fun."
Yeah, see?
He looks at his other buddies and go, "You got the 4-year-old. I got fucking tons of fun over here."
Give Adam Black some points. Squirrel is good, similar to frog. You have to eat a ton of it to get full.
I like frog.
Frog is good.
We win.
We did go down a rabbit hole. Tasty rabbit hole. Anyway, in the NFL yesterday, we had the news come out that Mark Andrews has gotten a 4-year, $56 million contract extension with the Baltimore Ravens. You have a problem with this? You think he got too much money?
It's an overpay. There's no doubt it's an overpay.
He's still one of the top 5 tight ends in the league, isn't he?
Let me ask you a question about Mark Andrews.
Okay.
What is the highest percentage of snaps he's ever played? Ever. In any season, what's the highest number of offensive snaps he's ever played?
The highest percentage of snaps? 65.
You're too high. It's 58.
Okay.
He was at 35 and 41 in his first 2 years in the league.
Okay.
And that's where he's better. I don't love that you overpaid him because you got to have a complimentary tight end to him because he's not a good blocker. And you want to do all these running. I feel like Baltimore is trending in a direction that I don't particularly like.
Okay, what is that?
Because they're trying to make Lamar Jackson something he's not.
A throwing
With
quarterback?
Sammy Watkins and Marquise Brown and Rashad Bateman, now you've paid Mark Andrews. And you're going to have to pay him. I feel like there's going to come a time where this Lamar Jackson thing it regresses. I don't want Lamar Jackson throwing the ball 35 times a game under any circumstances.
I agree with that. And I mean, I don't know that they're going to. I think at some point in his career, he's going to have to become that, but not yet. I mean, Lamar Jackson's only what, 26?
Yes.
So
I don't like when he gets paid. I've said that forever. Because now all these ancillary pieces that you have, you can't keep them around. And I feel like paying Mark Andrews, you're paying the wrong guy. Because he trends you in a direction. All right, so just think about this. Think about how much talent they've lost over the years. Baltimore drafts obnoxiously. They're probably the best drafting team in all of pro sports.
probably, yeah.
So they're going to keep talent around him. But you only have a finite number of people that you can pay. Was Matthew Judon more important to this team or Yannick Ngakoue than Mark Andrews?
I would say no.
I would say yes.
Really?
I would say yes. I love Mark Andrews. He's a guy that coming out, the year he came out of Oklahoma, I was plastered on him. Took him in dynasty drafts, just all the way in on Mark Andrews. I don't know that he fits in to what Baltimore's wanting to do. I think he was good as that 40% of snaps pass-catching tight end that's a matchup headache. And Lamar's such a threat to run that you can't really load the box, and it's kind of hard to defend him, and that's where I think he was best suited. Now he's the highest paid tight end in the NFL. He will make more money in the next 4 years than any tight end in the NFL. I don't think that's right. 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 I don't I think you did it wrong.
Yeah.
Well, Baltimore's better than anybody of cutting bait on somebody a year early. And I'm not saying Mark Andrews is washed. He has a lot of injury issues.
I was going to say he's the same age as Lamar.
I'm well aware of that.
All right.
He has a lot of injury issues. Mm-hmm. He has been hurt a litany of times. Never really bad enough to miss too many games, but just nagging little things. I'm not against him.
Okay.
I love Mark Andrews. I think you're going to regret having paid him this much.
I don't think they're going to regret having paid him this much. I think that if you have a quarterback like Lamar Jackson where, look, they seem to have very little problem with his arm. He did throw 36 touchdown passes 2 years ago when he won the MVP. Mm-hmm. They have added more weapons because I feel like they realize that him running so much is not a good idea. He's going to age very, very poorly. He's going to do that anyway. At some point in his career, he will have to become more of a pocket-ish passer. He's never going to be that. He's always going to be mobile. I think he's always going to be mobile, moving laterally to get away from pass rush. But as far as this, being able to run for 1,200 yards every season, he's obviously not going to be able to do that for much longer. So you've got to keep steady hands around him. There are very few tight ends in this league that are as steady-handed as Mark Andrews.
But he's not a complete tight end.
Oh, I understand.
He's not
that.
a blocker. The thing with when you pay a guy like Lamar Jackson who has physical limitations, if you don't understand that, I can't help you. Mm-hmm. He has limitations as a passer. Mm-hmm. You have to be careful where you spend your money. Mm-hmm. And I feel like spending $14 million on a part-time tight end is a slippery slope.
But why not give him a sure-handed, short-range, mid-range target like Mark Andrews?
Because he doesn't play into how Lamar Jackson works best. You're going to have tight ends. Mm-hmm. You're going to have running backs. Mm-hmm. This idea that – let me ask you a question. In 3 years, how many times has Lamar Jackson thrown the ball more than 35 times in a game?
Twice.
It's twice. He's shown you who he is. Mm-hmm. He's a 20 to 25 throws a game quarterback. Mm-hmm. That's where he's at his best. If you try to neuter him and make him a passing quarterback, that's what I'm talking about with where Baltimore's trending. Mm-hmm. Signing Sammy Watkins, drafting Rashad Bateman. Marquise Brown, I always understood it because he's a guy, if he gets a step on you, he's going to beat you. So if you poor eye discipline, whatever the case may be, if you let that guy get behind you, you're doomed because you're never going to catch him. Mm-hmm. What I'm seeing now is I see a path where Lamar last year threw, he threw 400 passes last year. That's it. That's 25 a game. Mm-hmm. I see a path where that number's 500 this year, and I don't like that.
Yeah.
I like him where he is. He's such a threat to run that you can't load the box on him, and he's so fast that even if you do, he's probably going to outrun you anyway. Mm-hmm. If it gets into we're going to turn him into Russell Wilson where he's going to throw a shitload and it protects his body, he's not that guy. He's not that guy. He's never been that guy. And everybody hides behind the 36 touchdowns. Yeah, you're right. And if you go back and look at those, a lot of them were over the top to Marquise Brown. It wasn't a lot of tight window throws. Mm-hmm. He's still not a great thrower of the football. He's just not. He's not overly accurate. And throw me the completion percentage, that's fine. You're 200 attempts behind the Tom Brady, right, Kyler Murrays of the world. So that number just doesn't mean a lot to me. Mm-hmm. It's steering in a direction that I don't love. Can it work? Sure. Because I didn't think you could get this far.
Right. I was going to say, as the best drafting team in the league, pretty much, I don't see too much of a flaw in this. Let's have this guy who we know is going to catch 70% of the balls thrown to him every time he's out on the field. Even if he doesn't play a whole lot, we can have a second tight end with him. They had Hayden Hurst as the blocker when he was there before.
You're missing a point. You're going to have to pay Lamar Jackson $40 million. Mm-hmm. That's already an overpay. Mm-hmm. It's already an overpay. So you have to be frugal in other places to make that work. Paying $14 million to a part-time tight end is not being frugal. There are certain guys that are going to have to come off of this roster, period. Mm-hmm. That secondary better stay the way it is because it's the best secondary in football. So Marlon Humphrey's going to get paid. I don't know what they're going to do with Marcus Peters because he makes my fucking head hurt. Of all players in NFL history, he probably makes my head hurt worse than anybody.
Why is that?
Just because the play is good at times and it's terrible at other times, and he's such a headache, and he's just a headache.
It sounds like a guy you don't give a whole bunch of money to.
That's what I would think.
Yeah.
But then who's going to play on the other side? That's kind of been the hallmark of this team, is how good the defense is. We've got a running quarterback. We can bleed the clock. We're going to run the ball well.
I think with them,
and
it's
you're
more
just
of
steering in the opposite direction. That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I think with Baltimore, though, their mindset is just more of a rinse and repeat. Like, we can find another fast fucking receiver to throw out there. We got Marquise Brown. We got Devin Duvernay in the draft. We can keep drafting these little speedy wide receivers and not pay them big. Are we going to find a tight end that can do the things that Mark Andrews does and be as good as him over the next 4 years? Maybe not.
Stephen Tao asked in the comments, how many games has George Kittle missed? He missed 8 last year. He missed 3 in his career before that.
Yeah.
The myth that George Kittle's injury prone is just that. It's a myth. George Kittle's the most complete tight end in the NFL, not named Travis Kelce. So, and look, we talked about this before the show. I'm not trying to bash them for the Mark Andrews signing. I like Mark Andrews.
Okay.
To me, this is like the third step in an ultimate 8-step process that ultimately leads to this Ravens offense not looking the way that it does. And I think Lamar Jackson has looked so good because of how this offense has looked.
Okay.
Then you have to pay him. You're already overpaying Mark Andrews. You're going to have to pay Hollywood Brown at some point if you're going to keep him around. At some point, you have to pay the piper. And when you're you're going to overpay Lamar. There's no doubt. Lamar's a $32 million quarterback. Because you have to put so many things around him to make him the guy that he is.
Right.
When you pay him $40, I think you overpaid Andrews by about $4 million. Now you're $15 million in overpayments.
Right.
Hard to run the cap that way.
Okay. The Ravens are also looking at running back positions. Justice Hill tore his Achilles, so he's done for the year. They already lost J.K. Dobbins in the last preseason game of the year. They have Gus Edwards. Everybody loaded up on the Gus bus, and now it has come out that they are bringing in 2 guys for workouts. Le'Veon Bell, who I think worked out yesterday, and Devontae Freeman. Did he work out yesterday, or is he just scheduled for one today?
I don't know. They were talking to the 2 of them.
Right. So Le'Veon Bell, Devontae Freeman. My question is, how much does this hurt Gus Edwards? For right now, I think he's going to be a great play for week 1 because he's the only one that knows the damn playbook.
Tyson Jackson. Tyson Jackson's the 2, and Tyson Jackson's going to get a ton of tote. Okay. He's a guy I've told you about. It ain't going to I don't give a damn who they bring in. I don't care. Be really honest with yourself. Le'Veon Bell, does he fit this offense? Not really. He'll be a pass catching back. He'll be a weapon.
Yeah.
Devontae Freeman's been washed for 3 years. So 2 years. I just don't care.
Yeah.
The 2 running backs you want from Baltimore, and there's always 2 that are at least vaguely fantasy relevant. Last year it was Dobbins and Gus Edwards. The year before that it was Mark Ingram and Gus Edwards. Well, now Gus has moved up a spot, and I think Tyson Williams is I'll be honest with you. I would take Tyson Williams if I was redrafting now. I would take Tyson Williams in probably 10th or 11th round.
Okay.
He's going to have a role. I can tell you that much. He's going to have a role.
Yeah. The Giants say that Saquon Barkley is going to play in week 1.
I don't care if he does or not.
We just don't know how much he's going to play.
I'm not touching him. That's why I told you not to draft him. Because I don't know what he's going to be.
Right.
And he's going to take up one of your running back spots, and there's an entire probability that he's going to see 10 touches.
If he sees 15-plus touches, to me, I think that would be a risky move by the Giants with him coming off of this injury, especially going up against the defense that he's going up against this week in the Denver Broncos.
I'm a level. I don't give a damn how many touches he gets. I don't like him against Denver. For me, this is an easy put your fingers in your ears and act like it didn't happen.
But, I mean, if he's on your team, though, you kind of have to play him, right? I mean, if you think that he's going to get close to 15 touches, maybe even more, just by just by repetition, you would think that he's going to be worth a play this week, at least as a flex.
Looking at my ranks for the week, it depends on who else you have.
Mm-hmm. So if you got
we'll
Saquon
do a ranking show at the end of this week.
Yeah. So. I was going to say, if you got Saquon Barkley, well, what would that have been? Maybe you got him at the back end of the first round. Maybe you got him at the beginning of the second round. So hopefully you went running back, and your other running back is Antonio Gibson or Austin Eckler or something like that. I mean, I think we need to hear more. And I don't think you're gonna, because if I was Joe Judge, I wouldn't let on anything about my game plan for Saquon Barkley this week.
I would start James Robinson over him this week.
Absolutely.
If you went, let's say you went Saquon, Najee, whatever, you wind up with James Robinson, I'd start him over.
Absolutely.
I would start Raheem Mostert over him. I would start Gus Edwards over him. I would start Josh Jacobs, Mike Davis, Damian Harris. Yeah, Saquon's going to be in that running back 22, 23 range for me.
Okay.
But just because I don't know what the workload is.
Yeah.
So I won't touch him in DFS. If you have him, I would bet you probably have two better options. I don't know that you'll have three.
Yeah.
He may end up being in that. He's going to be in that flex tier for me.
Yeah. I would say in the neighborhood of 15 or 15 plus touches, he's probably a top end RB2 this week.
Oh, I don't agree with you.
You don't agree?
I have him as a high end RB3. He's and I'm looking at my rankings on the fly because there's a couple things I still need to adjust before we do that show. Mm-hmm. Don't quote me on this. I believe he will be about running back 27 for me. Because I would play Kareem Hunt over him. And to me, it's not really all that close. We get into the Ronald Jones, Myles Gaskin, Trey Sermon tier.
Right.
That's where I'm at with Saquon for week one.
You do need to tread cautiously with Saquon Barkley this week, despite the fact that he's being cleared to play.
Adam Black asked Josh Jacobs or Mike Davis week one. Josh Jacobs, but it's close. By the way, can we stop with Wayne Gallman's out in Atlanta? Mike Davis not going to get a full workload. Stop talking. If you look at Wayne Gallman and go, that's a reason not to take Mike Davis, you don't understand fantasy football. And you probably shouldn't talk about it. Uh-huh. Can I ask you a question about Wayne Gallman? He's played in the NFL for 4 years. Mm-hmm. Do you know how many rushes he has in 4 years?
No.
338, and half of them were last year with the Giants who lost Saquon Barkley.
Mm-hmm.
He's not good.
He did have a couple of good games last year, didn't he? Didn't he have two over 100?
He's been below 4 yards a carry for the vast majority of his career. Mm-hmm. He's not good at football. And by the way, he is the oldest fifth-year veteran I've ever seen, because I swear to you, I thought he'd been in the league for like a decade and a half.
It hasn't been too long since he started at Clemson.
Devontae Booker flyer this week, I'm going to go no. And you know why? Because and no matter what his situation is, he cannot get away from his Devontae Bookerness.
Yeah.
Juju or Corey Davis this week? No. Jamison Crowder most likely for the Jets. You know what?
I'd say Juju.
I'm going to go Corey Davis.
Really?
I'm going to go Corey Davis.
Okay.
I'm not as huge of a believer in that Carolina secondary early. Mm-hmm. J.C. Horn has a and I have to say this because we're in a Panthers market. J.C. Horn has a bit of a reputation for being a little grabby. Mm-hmm. And so he's either going to stop that or he's going to get flagged a billion times in the first half of the season. Not saying he's not good. It's just a reputation that he carried coming into the league. And I'm telling you right now, every coach that goes up against him is going to pull the referee aside before every game that happens and say, look, this kid grabs on every play. Mm-hmm. So just know that's the thing.
I would say when it comes to Pittsburgh against Buffalo, what's the matchup going to look like? Who's going to be the corner on who?
I would say.
Who gets Tre'Davious White?
Juju.
Really?
It's either Juju or Deontay Johnson, and I'm not sure.
I think I like Chase Claypool better than all.
I do too, because he's
the best out of the three.
He'll run as the 3.
I like Chase Claypool the best out of the 3, but it's going to depend on who Tre'Davious White's going to be on.
And you know what? I want to do this tomorrow. So if you've got fantasy football questions, send them in to us. We'll make a cute little graphic with your name and all that good shit on it.
Okay.
So if you have questions that you want us to answer, we'll answer them tomorrow.
Let's also do rate my team tomorrow.
Okay.
We talked about this, and then we never paid it off just because we got behind the 8 ball on so many other things. But send us a screenshot of your fantasy roster, and we will rate your team. Rate your team and big fantasy football week 1 questions coming up tomorrow.
Yeah, and we'll answer them live. But if you want your name on the screen, you'll have to send them to me early so I can get them on the screen.
Yes.
When we move to the new studio, that won't be a problem because I can do it in live time. But for the next, hopefully, only a few days, we'll be. Oh, God, I want to move all this shit. Can we just throw it away?
You want to move all the shit?
I said I don't want to move all this shit.
Oh, you don't want to move.
Other than the cameras and the lights, can we just throw it away?
Well, most of it doesn't belong to us, so I think.
Oh yeah, good point.
I think they'd be. I think that's a phone call of, "Hey, we took what's important. You come get your shit." Because you've got the truck.
Tao asked 1 team per person because a lot of us are in 5+. No, you can send us as many as you want. We'll get to the best ones. We'll try to answer them all. We may not be able to answer them on the show.
Yep.
You can always send me a message on Twitter or a direct message or something like that. I will answer. I mean, it's what I do on Sunday. Is my lineups are usually set because I do that drunk on Saturday night, watching that Saturday night prime time college football game. That's tanker time for Jeremy.
Oh, okay.
So I try my damnedest to not adjust things on Sunday unless there's injuries.
Right.
But I will absolutely answer questions and all that good stuff.
All right. So tomorrow on here in the Sportsocracy in the Wicked Weed studio, we will do fantasy football questions for week 1. Also, we will do rate your teams. Send us the screenshots of your teams, and we will rate them here on the program. We'll be with you live this afternoon on ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM. And 1400, the Sports Tank with Jeremy Greene, heard everywhere on the iHeartRadio app, weekdays 3 to 5. Don't forget about competitions for a cause. Best ball leagues benefits, or the proceeds from that benefiting the Eblin Charities St. Nicholas Project. Get your get your bids in today, or your buy-ins today. Links to the competition for a cause best ball leagues are in the description of this video. Anything else?
We need just a few more entries for every tier for competition for a cause. We'll do those drafts on Sleeper tomorrow. If you want in the Vampire League for the ESPN Radio show, let me know. We've got a handful of spots left, and we'll draft that on the ESPN show tomorrow. It'll just be a passing thing that we kind of do through the show. So
okay, Vampire League, get in on that. Also, competition for a cause. Build your bankroll contest as well. Did we see how that went? By the way, do you have that pulled up?
What?
We can give an update on the Build Your Bankroll. Who's leading after week 1 of
I can't do it from
college
here,
football?
I can't do it from here, but I can make a slide for tomorrow.
Okay.
I know I'm in 8th.
All right, we'll give you the other. I think I'm in 10th or something. Who's shocked?
You're behind me. Yes. I do know that.
I was ahead of you all weekend long until the shit went south.
Worst weekend I've had in 2 years. Still behind me. So there you go.
That's the reason you give all the gambling advice, and we just make fun of how cheap I am. We'll be with you this afternoon on the radio side, back here tomorrow morning in the Wicked Weed studio at 10 a.m. We will see you then. Have a great day.